Hey friends, so you're probably drawn in by this captivating character in front of you. This is my intro video slash my video called Can I Be Spiritual and Listen to the Cramps Too? And the answer is 100%. So the kinds of videos I'm going to be doing from this point on, they are going to be about, tarot, divination. They're also going to be about my personal life experiences. There's going to be stories. But they're really about being able to come to terms with who you are as a person and living a guilt-free life. And one of the things I really struggled early on in my kind of spiritual awakening and moving into my path was how could I reconcile my other interests with saying affirmations. Like, for instance, one of my favorite films is Pulp Fiction, and most people wouldn't think of that as like, oh, shouldn't it be like, I don't know, something by Wayne Dyer, or shouldn't it be you all into the secret? I can be all into those things too, and so can you. It's more about the value that you place and what you're getting out of what you're taking in. And for me, what I've discovered, something that's the core of who I am, is the things that resonate with me most are passion, and it is sort of this liminal balance between the light and darkness of humanity, and the shadow sides of people, and the beauty that is in there. And just to give an example, one of the reasons I love Pulp Fiction is that it's kind of a parable. There's a lot of redemption in the movie. There is, people have like soul questions. Jules' whole issue when he kind of comes to terms with his lifestyle and where he wants to go forward. The same with Bonnie and Honey Bunny and Pumpkin when they're about to rob the restaurant. Everyone is coming kind of to terms with their own issues. Aside from that, there's the pulp culture aspect. Like, I love surf rock, hence like I love stuff like the Cramps and Elvis. And I grew up with that film in my home. And before I had seen it, I saw it at a pretty young age. I saw it when I was 9. And I'll explain that later. I'd heard my parents kind of having intellectual discussions, much like Jules and Vincent. And so the language was already kind of familiar to me. And then you kind of tie in all this crazy, like violence and drug use. And it was just very captivating as a piece of art. I had already had like a lot of exposure to contemporary art and been watching a lot of movies. Like, my dad is in the film business. But I had never really seen something done so poetically. So I guess my bottom line is, to be an artist and to be on a spiritual path can seem kind of like shaky ground, and you don't really know if what you're doing is right. But bottom line is, as long as you're being honest with yourself, you're being true to yourself, and you're deriving a lot of joy from listening to whatever you're listening to, or going to see like a crazy movie, as long as you feel fine, you don't feel like this inner wobbliness, you don't feel any resistance, it's okay, because you're feeding your soul, you're feeding what makes you happy, and you shouldn't feel like you have to be, that's not necessarily a saint, but you shouldn't sacrifice your true interests for what society's view of what a spiritual person should look like. What makes you a true spiritual person is being completely honest with yourself. And so it took me a really long time to come to terms with this, and it would even be to the point where I would try to force myself to listen to only like mantras and soothing music, and then there'd be this part of me that was like crying out, like, I need some edge in here, like, this isn't who I am, like, I don't want to wear light clothing and colors all the time. Sometimes I want to wear all black, sometimes I want to be moody, and then when I finally merged and I finally accepted that I like both things, like, I love Louise Hay and I love Abraham Hicks, but I totally will see, Jodorowsky's Dune in a heartbeat, because that's a part of who I am. I'm not acknowledging my true self. So if you like the Cramps, you like the Misfits, there's totally room for you on a meditation mat and a cushion. And also the people the artists that are behind these kinds of music, they feel the same way. They're deeply connected to this spiritual thread that connects all of us, and this is just the way that they express it. So my channel is just basically, I guess, for all the freaks, for all the people who feel like they kind of don't fit in, even in like the Sangha or the communities that are for spiritual people who feel kind of afraid to share their true interests. Like, there's a place for you on my channel. I have a lot of different tastes in music, literature. I have a really dark sense of humor, but I will totally be down to send out good vibes and pray. And I have like a manifestation and meditation list. I have a forgiveness list. So there's space here for you is basically what I'm saying. I'm so sorry that I spent most of the video lingering on my cramps t-shirt, but I have kind of a nice story about it. So I feel the way most people feel, I think, in our community about death, that it is not an ending, that it is a beginning, and it's actually kind of a continuation of where you were before you came into this planet. And I mean, I had personal experience really practicing and feeling this when my mom passed away 4 years ago. But and so I never really feel apart from her, and I have the full experience of her body, her mind, her consciousness, her powers. They're all a part of me. However, when an artist dies, be it an actor, musician, writer, filmmaker, I kind of take it in a more traditional sense, and I do mourn. I'm deeply saddened for a while. I usually cry, and for some reason my boyfriend is the one who always breaks the news to me. Maybe that's a gift from God. It's coming from someone I love and who can actually cradle me, and it's not some careless person on the street. So when I found out that Lux Interior died, he was the lead singer of the Cramps, it was maybe a year and a half after he had actually passed away. I found out just by accident when I was Wikipediaing them because I was looking for some of their old albums. And I was deeply upset for 2 to 3 months. And I know this is going to sound totally superficial and trivial, but before his passing, it was nearly impossible to find like Cramps memorabilia, like any kind of merchandise, t-shirts. It was like virtually impossible. But that's what happens when an artist dies. There's people that want to capitalize off the memory, which I guess is okay, because I started finding Cramps t-shirts all over the place, and I bought my first one. I lost it. I bought it in a local record shop in my home in Los Angeles, and I brought it with me for good luck to Hawaii. And I couldn't remember where it was, and then I started up a new job, or I was job hunting. I don't know. It was just a period of a lot of stress, and I found this t-shirt at a Hot Topic, which normally I wouldn't go into, but I mean, that's why they're there. They're for Cramps t-shirts for people that want to remember Lux and want to remember the music, because there's not going to be another live performance. And so this is one of the only pieces of clothing that I owned when I moved back. I moved back with like $200 in a dream. And so I actually didn't wear this for the first few weeks that I had it. I used it as a pillowcase. And I said that it protected me and it gave me good luck. And then I wore it so much after I finally got a job and good money that like there's like a bleach stain. It's super washed out. And there's paint stains. It just kind of became a uniform to wear this, and I met a lot of my close friends now through this shirt, because when you wear a band t-shirt, it's like a flag, and people that are fans will come up to you and they'll talk story about, you know, when they went to see the Cramps in '88 in Anaheim, or, you know, more they'll share like, oh yeah, it is too bad that Lux is dead. It's just a great thing that brings us together. So kind of went off the rails there, but there's a little anecdote about my love of the Cramps. They're probably, I would say they're my favorite band. I'm a huge fan of rockabilly and Chuck Berry, and also like the Dark Side. So this is like the perfect union of like 50s Americana, pure rock and roll, and like edgy, horror, humorous, fun music. So that is my Cramps altar video wrap-up. Once again, sorry for the lame visuals, but I hope that you just focus on my voice instead. Leave comments in below if you're a Cramps fan and like to read tarot. Holla at me. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day or night or whatever. Okay.